Hey there, it's CJ Willie and I'm cracking a pack. Today I have a pack of Theros Beyond Death. So was at Target, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago and decided to pick up an extra pack as I'm in between review and preview videos. Thought I'd crack a pack of Theros Beyond Death. So as I crack this pack, I'm gonna have my usual commentary. Going to be based more from a casual, and let me stress casual, Magic the Gathering point of view. I think it's kind of a unique way to take a look at the card and, see how I would rate it. I don't spend, a ton of money buying a whole bunch of different Magic products, so whatever cool cards I get out of, a booster pack, I try to play. All right, so first card out of the pack is Incendiary Oracle. It's 2 mana, 1 and a red. It's a human shaman. 2/2. You can pay 1 and a red, and Incendiary Oracle gets +1/+0 until end of turn. If a creature dealt damage by Incendiary Oracle this turn would die, exile it instead. So kind of an interesting bear, if you will, in red. For a long time, red didn't get bears with an upside until I think it was Eldritch Moon or Shadows over Innistrad when you got that Falcon Wrath Reaver. So didn't play too much with it. Really didn't have it played too much against me in draft. Not a card that I'm currently playing too often. All right, next card is Indomitable Will for 2 mana. Oh, 2 mana theme here. 1 and a white, enchantment aura. It has flash, enchant creature, and enchanted creature gets +1/+2. So kind of a combat trick. It's not really the best combat trick. Usually in white, you want to be a little more aggressive. That's what I'm finding in some of the more recent sets. Especially in draft, you want to have a little bit more aggression, and giving your creature just +1/+2 for 2 mana isn't going to get you there. Okay. Next card is Naiad of Hidden Coves for 3 mana. It's 2 and a blue. It's an enchantment creature nymph at 2/3. As long as it's not your turn, spells you cast cost 1 generic less to cast. So this is something that's in like the blue-red spells deck where you play instants or flash on your opponent's turn and it will reduce the cost. I actually played this in a blue-white draft deck and had quite a bit of success with it. Funny enough, it was blue-white, but it was really good because on my opponent's turn, making counter spells a lot cheaper was a pretty good deal. So I did have a little bit of success with it. A 2/3 body was a little meh, but it wasn't too bad. Scavenger Harpy. Oh, that's interesting. So the first 2 cards were 2 converted mana cost. Now we're to 3 converted mana cost. Scavenger Harpy, 2 and a black, is a Harpy. At 2/1, it has flying. When Scavenging a Harpy enters the battlefield, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. So in draft, I really like this card. There was a number of times when I would play it, and guess what? I just exiled your awesome escape card. In fact, there was one time I was playing, in the small play group, the 4 of us, we'll get a booster box and crack it and draft. In that box, one of my friends got an Uro, and in 2 games against him, I was able to play this. And although Uro had already come down and got 3 life and drew him a card and a land on the battlefield, all that jazz, both times I was able to play it and shut off his Uro from future shenanigans. All right, Skola Grove Dancer. So we're back to the 2 mana, 1 and a green, enchantment creature, Satyr Druid. It's a 2/2. Whenever a land card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, you gain 1 life. You can pay 3, 2 and a green, put the top card of your library into your graveyard. I didn't play with this much, didn't like it. I wasn't very impressed with it. It probably has some sort of playability if you're in a deck where lands are going to your graveyard. It just never seemed to pay off when I was trying to throw stuff into my graveyard and, escape things. The synergy just never happened. Hyrex Tower Scout, 3 mana, 2 and a green. Human Scout at 3/3. When a Hyrex Tower Scout enters the battlefield, untap target creature. I did like this card quite a bit. A 3/3 for 3 is great. And basically giving one of your creatures vigilance was pretty cool. So, you would attack in, and early on in the game, usually what happened, no blocks would would take place. So then on second main phase, play Hierarch's Tower and untap my, Vigilance creature. Even in late game, it wasn't too bad. Attack with a big bomb, no blocks, play Hierarch's Tower Scout, untap, and there you go. So it was a very useful common, I thought. Wings of Hubris, 2 generic, artifact equipment, equipped creature has flying. Sacrifice Wings of Hubris, equipped creature can't be blocked this turn. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Equip cost for 1. This common did some work. This was a great common in Theros Beyond Death. Especially in a green-blue deck, green-red deck where your big beefies were sitting on the ground. Wings of Hubris gave repeatable flying. So if they killed, your creature that was a flyer, you played your next big creature, attached Wings of Hubris, and you had another flyer. And for 3 total mana, so 2 generic to play and 1 to equip, fantastic artifact. And if you need to get the last points of damage through, you'd sacrifice Wings of Hubris and swing it with your creature. They couldn't block it. Flicker of Fate, 2 mana, 1 and a white, instant, exile target creature or enchantment, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. The flickering effect just didn't seem to happen. I had this a couple of times in draft and sealed, just never really played it. I'm sure that it's something that with enter the battlefield shenanigans in white and blue that has a lot of utility. Thirst for Meaning, 3 mana, 2 and a blue, instant, draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an enchantment card. Another great card, great common. Most of the time you had an enchantment in your hand that you didn't care pitching, so you could keep 3 of the cards that you drew. Complete awesome card in blue. I love drawing cards, I love playing blue. Funeral Rites, 3 mana, 2 and a black, sorcery, you draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, and put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Another great card draw spell. Not, I think, as great as Thirst for Meaning, but in the right deck, blue or black green, where you're trying to get escape cards into your graveyard. Funeral Rites is great. Drawing 2 cards, losing 2 life. I mean, we see that on a ton of different, sorcery cards in black, but then the ability to take 2 cards off your top of your library and put it into your graveyard worked as well. The only downside is I wished I could choose which 2 cards I want to pitch instead of the 2 off the top of my graveyard. It would be nice if I drew the cards, then discarded 2 cards out of my hand. That might be a little overpowered, but definitely, a good card. Our first uncommon is Nyx Herald. So the majority of our cards, if you look at, have been 3 mana, 2 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana. So either 2, 3 mana. Very interesting. Converted mana cost. Nyx Herald, 3 mana, 2 and a green, enchantment creature, Centaur Shaman. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target enchanted creature or enchantment creature you control gets +1/+1 gains trample until end of turn. It's a 2/3. So this card did do some work. There was a lot of enchantment creatures. There was a lot of creatures that were enchanted, and being able to give one of your creatures +1/+1 trample at the beginning of each combat was great, especially in green. Any combination of green, green-white, green-black, green-blue, green-red, you're going to have beefy creatures, and giving them +1/+1 and trample is going to do a lot of work. I played this card a couple of times and really liked it. Next uncommon is Reverent Hoplite, 5 mana, 4 and a white. It's a human soldier at 1/2. When Reverent Hoplite enters the battlefield, create a number of 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens equal to your devotion to white. I never got to play with this card. In our cracking our box and drafting it, one of my friends played it. It never really panned out. There was one time, if I remember right, he played it and he got 2 other human soldier tokens, which I just don't think really pays off. You really had to set your deck up. You really had to build it a certain way to be able to make this card pay off. And I've really yet seen it, so it's not one of my favorite uncommons in the set. Okay, our final uncommon is Sea God Scorn, 6 mana, 4 and 2 blue. Return up to 3 target creatures and or enchantments to their owner's hands. So I did play this one time in a blue-white kind of control deck, and it paid off. It's one of those cards where you play late in the game and it should win you the game. You should be in a position to win the game, or it can set them back tempo-wise. It's not a bomb uncommon. I think I played it a couple of times and the one time I was already winning the game, so it didn't necessarily matter. And the other time it just elongated the game, and I actually won because my friend decked himself. It was one of those games that just went long, and I ended up with 2 more cards in my library than he did. So not a bomb uncommon, but something that's definitely useful in, you know, a blue-based deck. Okay, are we going to get a rare, mythic rare, some sort of significance? Hopefully so. Here we go. And Thassa's Intervention. So X generic and 2 blue. It's an instant. You choose one. Look at the top X cards of your library. Put up to 2 of them into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Or the other one that you can choose is counter target spell unless its controller pays twice X. So didn't really have an opportunity to play this. I don't remember if it was in our box that we cracked as a play group. It seems like it would be a pretty fun card. I mean, it's kind of got a what's the name of the card that came out of Khans of Tarkir that has Delve, not Treasure Cruise. I can't think of the other one. It kind of has that sort of effect, and then, you know, it's a late game counter that makes it really impossible, but I mean an expensive late game counter. So, you know, it doesn't seem to be a card. Dig through time, that's what I'm thinking about. So it's definitely not a dig through time. I mean, it has its utility, but it's not that sort of bomb that I want to play. I don't have much experience with it. Like I said, I haven't played it or haven't had it played against me, so hard really to say. I do like playing blue. I do like countering things. It's probably something that now that I have a copy of, I'll put it in a deck and see how it performs, and then I'd have a better opinion of it. We've got a Swamp and a Satyr token. My favorite card, or what I think is the best card out of the pack, is going to be Thirst for Meaning. Playing it in draft was a lot of fun. It definitely paid off because in Theros there were a ton of enchantments running around. So essentially this card was draw 3 and pitch an enchantment. And if you set your deck up right, the times that you could pitch an enchantment, you're pitching an enchantment with Escape. So essentially you're drawing 4 cards. Pretty cool common. I think that it was a common that in a couple of drafts that I did, I picked relatively high based upon what else was in the pack. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please subscribe and share. Take some time to tell me in the comments section what was your favorite or best card out of the pack. Until next time when I'm back cracking my next pack of Magic the Gathering.